Good morning. Thank you, Jesus, for another day. We're back with another video. Let's get into it. I just got back from measuring for new drawer fronts, new doors at a job. It's going to be a reface. We are spraying the frames, taking off all the old doors, drawer fronts. We're keeping the existing drawer boxes, which is fine. We'll reinstall the brand new drawer fronts, reinstall the new doors. Again, existing drawer boxes, keep those, drill new handles, spray all the frames, everything. I think they might be leaning to Snowbound, a color from Sherwin-Williams, which is a really popular white. So that's awesome, but that job won't be for a little while. So we have that measured. We'll put it into our computer system, shoot out all the cope sticks, panel sizes, then we can start building those doors. But today, I'm going to start, or finish rather, I started it this weekend, figuring out these blind corner cabinets that have face frames on both sides. There's another cabinet over there that's similar to it. It's a lower, and then there's a microwave cabinet that isn't a blind corner, but the face frame's on both sides. So when I originally put these together, I made the bottoms a hair too big. So I had to take it all the way apart this weekend, put it back together. Now I just need to finish these. So I'm gonna start doing that today. And then Brandon is installing the cabinets for a client that go above their existing cabinets. So he's doing that right now. He cut out face frames. There's only 3. They're lower cabinets. For a job, Carl cut out on the CNC this morning the cabinet shell pieces. So we can put those together, face frames together, those 3 cabinets, Jacob's taping. It's a super busy day. And that's all good. So I'm going to kind of get set up for this. We'll just go from there. Just got off the phone with Jacob. He's doing really well taping at that house. It's an existing job, so we pulled all the existing doors, drawer boxes, drawer fronts off, handles off, everything. Labeled everything. Kept the boxes, handles there, hinges there, drawer slides there. And we brought the existing doors and drawer fronts back to our other facility to get primed and sprayed. Jacob's taping the whole kitchen off, so that way he can prime and spray the frames tomorrow. And then the day after that, we'll bring the doors, drawer boxes back, or drawer fronts back, and then we'll install the drawer boxes, handles, doors, drawer fronts, everything back into that kitchen. Just the way it was. We'll just make sure everything's level and perfect for the client. So now what I'm going to do, and Brandon's installing cabinets still. He's doing really well. So that job's going to be a little bit weird. We have to install the upper cabinets that we built above the existing upper cabinets, and then once they're in, Brandon can measure for the skins, install those, and then we can do the crown and measure for doors. It's a little bit different than what we normally do, but it's how it needs to happen since there's doors and cabinets below the cabinets we're putting. So that's all good. This is a blind corner cabinet that I'm working on right now. This part is the blind. It's 12 inches deep or 12 inches wide because the cabinet that butts into it will be 12 inches deep. I need to put an extra 1/4 inch piece here so this all gets flushed out. So that's what I'm going to work on here next. 12 by 30. Brad nailed that on. And then this cabinet is even more difficult because it hangs over a peninsula. So it's situated like this. And then another cabinet butts into it right here. Another cabinet butts into it right here. But there's going to be a door right here on the other side of the peninsula. So I need to skin this on the inside to make sure that looks really nice. I had to adjust my holes where my screws went. So I'm going to skin that off. I'm going to skin this flush. And then I can put on my other side of the face frame right here. Then hopefully it measures out correctly. It should now, since I've taken away some of my my width down here, or my depth on this floor. That's what was causing me the trouble. So, but you never really know until you know. So I'm gonna cut these couple of skins. What should this be? So I have a 12 by 30, and I have a 12 and 5/8 by 12 and 5/8 by 27. But that has to be different material. So let's see here. I'm gonna go 12 and try to find us a piece that will work well. So this can be this material, this 30, this will work well. Since you'll never see this, $30. And then what this will do here, this will sit on here. It's not exactly flushing out, so I'm gonna have to check something, but that's the idea right here. This will sit on here like this, flushed out, and then I'll put one on the inside of the same material that I use for the cabinet shelves, just 1/4 inch, so it doesn't kill the room for the shelves. And then I can put the other side of the face frame on. I now have my skin on right here, and all it is for a pack out, so that way when this cabinet butts up into this cabinet, the face frame and this pack out piece right here are flush for our blind corner. We do it this way so nothing can fall out when you put it into your cabinets. A lot of blind corners I see from factories or such, this is all open, and then you just, I don't know, things fall out and you lose stuff. Clients don't like it. I don't like it either. So I build it so that way it's enclosed. And then since face frame will be on both sides with doors on both sides, I had to adjust how I built this a little bit. Normally there's screws right back here to connect the inside pack out to the face frame, but I didn't want the client to be able to see screws when he opens up the door from this side. So I just put a 1/4 inch piece of the same material, birch material that we make the cabinets out of, on here, pin nailed it, color match, puttied it. I didn't want to use the contact glue and get that in the inside of the cabinet. So I pin nailed it, puttied it, and you can't even see those pin nails. So now my next step is I'm going to put the second face frame onto this side and pray that the math of the depth works out well. It should, but there's only one way to find out. So I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to put a piece of cardboard down so the front face frame doesn't get scratched out. And then we'll just see how it goes. So let me go grab that, screw it on, and see how it works. I now have the back side of this cabinet, its face frame on. And that's how it'll look. So there'll be a door right here. This is the front side of the cabinet. This is the back side. There'll be another cabinet that kind of connects right here, and I have to do the same thing, a front and a back. There'll be a skin right here. There's a wall right there. And I measured it. It measures 12 for the depth. So that's awesome, because when I did this the first time, I had to take it all the way apart because it did not. It measured 12 1/8, and that is no good. Upper cabinets are 12 inches deep. So I need to come over here. This is the other cabinet. I need to pull this face frame off, because when I put this face frame on, again, it measured 12 1/8, just like the other one. Pull this off, pull my bottom, pull my top off, trim them, put them back together, put this face frame on, put this face frame on, and then those two cabinets will be good to go. I think this cabinet was a little harder because of the whole blind corner situation. So there are a few other things I have to do to that cabinet that I didn't think about when I put it on or when I built it, but it'll be okay. So that's the front with a cabinet butting into it with a blind corner. And this is the back. And again, it just hangs over a peninsula. So that'll look really good though. That does look really good. I'm glad that worked out. So organize up a little bit and then start working on fixing the other cabinet. And then there is a third one that's a lower, that's a blind corner, face frames on the front, face frames on the side. It's in a peninsula. It's super custom, but I'm glad this one's done. So I'm drilling all the shelf holes for our shelves since we didn't have the CNC do it. And I'm keeping them evenly spaced from the top and the bottom here. There's only 2 shelves per cabinet, so there's plenty of shelf holes in here. I want to do a lot though, so that way the client has a bunch of adjustability. All I'm doing, I like using the impact. I think it makes it way cleaner. Not sure why, but the drill always leaves these burrs, and I can't stand that. So I'm gonna go into my hole here. I'm just gonna keep going up with it. It's not that hard of a process. It's kind of hard holding. You need like another hand, but this works really well, and then you can control where the holes are. So keep drilling this, and then I'm going to get set up for that other cabinet to fix it up. This is another cabinet similar to the one we just did with face frame on both sides, just no blind corner. It actually goes above a hood. That's why it's packed out with an inch of material down at the bottom to support that. And our dados just are not tight because our tops are too wide. They're not leaving a big enough gap for our dado. So I need to pull this face frame off, pull our top and our bottom off, which is all glued, screwed, and brad nailed, and then trim those down, glue, screw, brad nail them back on, and then glue and screw both sides of our face frame on. We have our tricorn black mission doors and drawer fronts and applied panel back from our other facility. We measured for these on Friday. It's Monday. They're already dry, cured out. 3 or 4 coats on each side. That oven helps a lot. So I'm going to attach this applied panel to this cabinet here. And we pre-planned by making our face frame flush with our cabinet shell. So I'm going to simply line this up here with our face frame in the front and then screw it in from the inside of the cabinet. And in theory, everything will work out great. We don't know if it'll work out great, but in theory, it'll work out great. Get down underneath here. There we go. It kind of moved on me a little bit. That's not great. Well, it just moved on me. I wasn't holding with enough pressure, but it sucked it extremely tight and it did not pop through. I'm using 1-inch fine thread screws. Cabinet material is 1/2 inch. The applied panel is 3/4 of an inch thick, so 1-inch screws obviously should hold well, but you don't really know until you know. So moves on me again, I'm going to clamp it, but it looks perfectly flush there now. Looks perfectly flush up front here. It looks great everywhere. So I'm going to come in through here now, screw it down here. There we go. It's looking really good here. I am obviously making sure that I'm screwing into the rails and the stiles, not the center panel, because the screw will pop through. That is something we cannot have. So, let's check the back. It's super flush there. Super flush there. The bottom's super flush. It actually looks really good. So, I'm going to screw in over here now. Out here with the old DeWalt's again. The boys have all the Milwaukees on the job site. So, I'm stuck with this, which is absolutely fine. There we go. That feels nice and flush. Things are working out, so that is a huge bonus, something to be grateful for. My plan is to put 1,000,000 screws so it cannot come apart. Still looks and feels really good. The alternative is to brad nail this on. Or, well, there's a few different ways you could do this. Could have put this on and then sent the whole cabinet shell through the oven and the spray booth, but that isn't the greatest. The oven's definitely, it's way bigger than this. It would fit it, but then you have to carry it, move it. I don't know. Don't like that as a real alternative. And we could brad nail this on, but then that's not the greatest alternative either, brad nails. So from a production standpoint, this is far superior, far more custom. The only thing I don't love about this, which is fine though, there are screws on the inside of this cabinet, but that is fine. They look good and they look professional, so I'm fine with the screws being in there. I think this is a far superior way to attach this. That's how it looks on there. Looks really good. Everything is flush. Everything is very flush. It's super dusty right now, but that's okay. We'll wipe it off. It looks professional. That's the screws on the inside. Most of the screws will be hidden by the drawer box, but I really like that. Okay, now Carl wants to go get me a slide. We are one 18-inch slide short. So I'm going to put in the two drawer boxes. I'm going to put on those two drawer fronts, put on the doors, and then we don't have any tip kit hinges for our middle. So I'm going to wait on that until tomorrow when they come in. We have to order those. They come in one day, so those are on order. Then this cabinet will be completed once that's done. So get my hinges, Bloom compact soft close, work on our maple dovetail custom drawer boxes, get those installed, and then just wait on the fake front. But it's coming together. It's looking really good. I started putting my brackets for my drawer boxes in. My offsets is 3/8 of an inch, so I drew my line in my corner over here, right here, and right here. These get mounted a little bit differently since there's no walls to butt the board up to. And then drew my line, took off my 3/8 of an inch so I know where to mount everything. One thing I ran into, which I've run into before, is these boxes are too small for a clip. So Bloom makes a different type of clip. Instead of a width and a height and a depth adjustment, they just have a height adjustment, so they're a lot skinnier. So those are on order along with the tip kits. They'll be in tomorrow. But that being said, I can still get the hard part of the boxes done, the side panels done over there, and I can mount the doors. So that way tomorrow I can slide the boxes in, which is easy, mount the 3 drawer fronts and the tip kit hinge. So that's not that big of a deal. Going to simply put my bracket at the bottom of my line right there, and then put it at my new mark. Screw it in. For instance, my old, like this mark right here was a 1/2 inch in. Subtract my 3/8, so my bracket will be 1/8 of an inch away from the side. This one was a little bit different because of how we dadoed it to get the face frame perfectly flush for that side panel. It was 1 inch in, so you subtract your 3/8 and you get 5/8. Make sure these are in tight. Perfect. Then these boards I line up with the sides or the edges of the board, these clips, and then when I go to mount these here in a minute, I have to mount these in a way by taking some math with my tape measure, so that way I know where to place these since there's no walls. And there's no walls in the middle because there's a sink. Because this is for a bathroom vanity. So there's a sink in the middle. You can't put walls. Otherwise, it'll be in the way. Let's go grab our drill bit over here. See what we got in the old DeWalt drill bits. I can reach in and grab them. This should be fine. Along with the old DeWalt drill. Much as I hate on these DeWalts, been around for like 6 years, 5 years maybe. So definitely been good tools. I'm pre-drilling these because this is, it's essentially scrap, but instead of going to a big box store and buying material to mount boards, we use offcuts of the same material we build our doors out of. So a lot of times we're using beech or red oak or white oak, or well, not typically white oak, but red oak or beech material. So it's a hardwood, and I don't want the screw to snap off. And I know I shouldn't use these screws, but I am going to use them. They are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are drywall screws. They'll hold just fine, but chances of them snapping are high. I'm out of our 1 1/4 Craigs. That's what I typically use, so these will have to do. I'll make them work. Not worried about the holding power of them. They're going to hold great. But just don't want these to snap off. And they're Phillips bit, so that isn't great either. As much hate as a square bit gets, it works well. I think I'm going to run these through really quick. Even though they're pre-drilled, this always seems to help. There we go. One more. Okay. So, grab all of these, grab these screws, get set up down here for battle, I guess. I'm not sure if it's battle, but it's something. What I'm going to do here first, I'm going to do the easy ones. Easy ones first. Starts with this one. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Phillips screws are not great, but they will work. There we go. And then put this one into the corner over here. I will say this, mounting drawer boxes without the cabinet being installed is always difficult because the cabinet likes to move. But that's fine. Okay, our exterior boards are in with the brackets. Now, to find this one and this one, I need to take this in here. So this is 8 inches exactly, but it needs to be an extra 3/8 of an inch because we need our offset. So I should go 8 inches plus 3/8. So the outside of my bracket should be 8 3/8, or my board, because I lined it up. Oh, that moved a little bit. I lined it up with the exterior of the board on purpose. Doing without the countertop on is much easier. But when you have the counter on, you don't have enough hands. So that's why it's nice sometimes. Oh, these screws. Terrible idea. It's nice to be able to just measure to the board and the bracket instead of just one or. That's why I mount the brackets like I do. I think it'll be fine. Take a quick measurement. Yep, 8 3/8. That's what we want. Now, this side is, it's going to be a different because our offset was different right here because of how we dadoed these out for the panel. So this is 8.5, right? Correct. So should have to go 8 7/8 if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 8 7/8. Get all prepped up here. 8 7/8 to the side is looking about right. About correct right there. Let's try this here. Not so much a screw I'm fighting, it's a cabinet moving, but that's fine. So we'll check this now, 8 7/8, and that looks wrong. What did I do wrong there, Tyler? Something looks incorrect. I think I switched my boards around is what I think. Maybe I didn't, I'm not sure. There we go. No, that looks actually correct, right? Let's measure. I think that's correct. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll use our 5/8 inch small head Phillips. Secure that in place along with the other side. You want them even. Right there. These are the 18-inch slides Carl just got. That's not good. Whoever wrapped those, man, I was telling you what. Crazy work. Okay. Screw this side in, and then we can start getting the doors on and leveled. There we go. Our balloon boring machine makes it super easy for us to simply go back into the hole at board. We also press these in ahead of times. So the plastic pieces are in, and now all I have to do is simply grab the screws, which should be in this baggie, and I can screw these hinges in. No hammering required, no pressing anything in required. It's just screw and go. So I'm going to screw these hinges in, soft close, compact bloom, and then level out the doors, move the cabinet to the side, put the drawer fronts in there so they don't get damaged, same with the drawer boxes, and then wait for tomorrow to get the tip kit hinges, the clips for the drawer boxes, and then we can deliver this cabinet. This cabinet is now completed for the day. I still have to put the clips on the boxes, but I just set them in there just to make sure they would fit. It looks like they're going to be awesome. We do have to wipe this cabinet, it's super dusty, but the applied panel is mounted from the inside, connected, doors are on and leveled. Need to put the tip kit hinges in, clips on the boxes, that way the three fronts can go on, wipe everything. When the other van gets back, I'll put a restrictor in this door so it doesn't hit this wall, and then this cabinet be ready to get sent out. So I took apart this other cabinet. I cut down my top and my bottom pieces. Took 1/8 of an inch off because that's what I did on the other cabinet that we fixed this morning, or finished fixing. I did all that math on Saturday to see what I needed to take off. So now I'm just rinsing and repeating since it worked. The other one, now what I'm going to do here is hopefully put this cabinet together and it will just work out. Saturday I spent like most of the day trying to fix that other cabinet, and there was a problem. That the longest part on Saturday was there was a problem that actually wasn't a problem, but I thought it was a problem. So I fixed it, and then I ended up realizing there was no need to fix it, and it actually is incorrect now that I fixed it, and I should have left it because it was not incorrect the first time. So that was terrible on a Saturday. Wasted like an hour of my time doing something that didn't need to be done in the first place. And then I had to fix what didn't need to be fixed. So yeah, that was a fun time. So I'm not going to do that on this cabinet because I realized it doesn't need to be done, which is wonderful. I have my spacers down below, so my spacing should be correct, hopefully. Just trying to maneuver this in a way here that hopefully, I'm going to try to feel it. Yep, that feels good. I have a 1/4 inch spacer here because this cabinet is a hood cabinet, and once I put this 1/4 inch piece of material on the bottom, I want it to be flush so that way there's no gappage between the top of the hood and the cabinet. I want it to be packed out so it's super sturdy and it can support the hood below it. Now the brad nails are just there to tack it until I get my screws in for my Craig jigs here. I did glue the pieces. The only problem with the glue, it does help. When I had to take this apart, I could definitely tell it was helping, but really the screws, and I think the brad nails too, because I put 1,000,000 in, are doing a lot of the lifting because this is UV'd material. And the glue's not going to really stick the greatest to the UV, but it did stick somewhat. So in my mind, it's worth doing. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Wipe that glue on there, just like such. Do the same thing on this side that I just did to the other side. And then I'll do the top piece that'll go right here. When that is finished, I'll be able to put on my face frame, both sides of the face frame, and hopefully it will just work out. It should. The other cabinet did, and I did the same exact thing, so should. 1.25 inch brads. We're going to hold that for a while. Till I get my Craigs in. Okay. There we go. My inch-long Craig screws in there. This just makes me so grateful for the CNC. This isn't exactly how we used to build our hand-made cabinets. It's so custom, it's not even funny, but it did take a while to make cabinets by hand. Nothing like this, but as this again is double face frame, like, it's crazy. But it'll turn out really great. But yeah, that CNC cut out 3 cabinets this morning and took like 10 minutes. And all we had to do is glue, screw, and they're done. So that's amazing. All right, I'm gonna put this piece on. with a 1/2 inch spacer instead of a 1/4 because it's going to be the top. Well, it doesn't need to be packed out any certain way. I'm going to use my 1/2 inch, and then once that's together, I'll start putting on my face frames, do a little bit of praying that everything fits. It should though, it should. So this cabinet is for the most part done. I have the front face frame screwed in. I put the back one on. It measures out 12 deep, which is perfect. So now, the only thing I messed up on, which will be fine, is this. The back of this cabinet hung down previously to kind of cover up the back of the hood. And so when I was making my face frame, I didn't take into account the width of it. I took into account the total measurement and height and everything. I just didn't take into account the bottom width of the face frame. This piece right here should have been, I don't know, 6.5 wide. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make a filler, which will go right between here. There would have been a seam either way. I just wanted to integrate it into the face frame. So it actually works out just fine and it'll look really good. And I'll bring the doors down to cover that anyway. So instead of having the filler at the bottom, it's going to be on the inside of the face frame, which is a better look. I just have to make it, and we have to stain it, clear coat it. I'm going to Craig it, put it together. You'll never see the Craigs because the hood will come in like this, and it'll hide all of that, and then the doors will hide the seam all the way around. But I don't want to put this in place because I don't think I can well, I know I won't be able to get my impact in here to screw that board, the Craigs, in. I could use a right angle attachment on that specialty drill and it would work, but it'd be a pain. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait, build that filler, get it finished at the other facility, and then put that filler in here, and then install this face frame. So this cabinet for the most part is done. I think I'm going to clean up. Brandon's coming back. He's going to cut some skins for that job where he's installing right now, skin side panels, and then I don't know, we'll see. We may start putting these together. We may dado these two cabinets. The face frames we may dado. These are heavy. These out of the way here. Could do that. Could also work on this. This is the third and final weird cabinet that I need to do. That's the front of the cabinet. There's going to be a face frame right there. There's a blind corner in this area where cabinets butt into, and then this is like the edge of the peninsula. The peninsula runs this way, and there's a face frame right here. So I need to figure out how I'm going to support everything. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way, get cleaned up, so when Brandon comes back to cut skins, he's able to, and then I'll think in my mind what is the most efficient and productive thing to do next. I got the area cleaned up for Brandon, so that way when he comes and cuts the skins, he can just start cutting. I made this filler board for that face frame. 6.5 inches, 27 wide. I'm going to sand it down here with the vertical belt sander from 13/16 thick to 3/4 of an inch thick, and then it'll be ready to get stained and clear coated. Then when it comes back, I can get it cragged, put onto that face frame, put the face frame onto the cabinet. That cabinet will be completed. So I'm going to plug this thing in, make sure the 80 grit's in, change it to 150 grit eventually, and then I'll palm sand that, and it'll be ready to get sent to the other facility. Pull this fresh off the vertical belt sander. Got it sanded down to 1/16 of an inch, so it was 13/16, now it's 3/4. I'm gonna pull out the trusty palm sander here, just clean it up, make sure it's perfect, so when the other facility goes to stain and clear coat it, there's no issues. And then after that, hopefully Brandon will be back. He can start cutting down the skins. And then I think what I'm going to do, oh, that's loud, is, I might start sanding down. Brandon cut out these face frames earlier this morning at like 7:30. It's only 3 face frames, 3 cabinets. So I may sand those down a hair. They're 1 3/4 wide. I'll send them to the vertical belt sander. They're 1 13/16 right now. Send those down to get them to 1 3/4 wide, not thick yet, wide. So that way everything's perfect. There's no sanding marks. Everything's perfectly straight. Put those face frames together and then sand them for the thickness of 13/16 to 3/4 of an inch. So that might be what I work on next. We also need to start, which this might be a tomorrow project. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's 2 other tricorn black face frames sitting right there. Need to get dado put onto here. All these cabinets need skinned. The skins are sitting over there as well. We need to put all those on with our contact adhesive. Double check those. Double check a bunch of stuff. So like the shelf holes, the measurements, height, width, depth. We need to make the shelves for these, install the drawer boxes, measure for doors. These can all get sent out then. Those two cabinets right there, once the face frame is on, we need to finish up the doors. The doors are 95% completed. We just need to get a different router bit because it's a custom router on the edges. Need to do that tomorrow, hopefully. And then need to finish installing the drawer boxes, put the clips in them. And then, so that way then they can connect to the slides and soft close. Get the 3 fronts on. Once the tip kit comes in, get this sent out of here. And things to do tomorrow, but I can start working on some of that today maybe. Once I get this sanded down, Brandon gets those skins cut, hopefully. And then Jacob will eventually get back from where he's taping. That'll probably be about 4. So he won't have anything to do here. He'll just have to load his van up. But I'm going to start palm sanding this and then kind of think in my mind again, what's the most effective thing to do. I got that filler board for the red oak completed. So now this is another job. Ouch, I just got a splinter. For 3 cabinets, they're lowers, no drawer boxes, all doors. So I'm going to sand these face frames, take a 1/16 of them off on the width, so that way everything is perfectly straight. It's probably really a 30-second, but that way everything is perfectly straight and looks really good. Brandon did get back from the job. He got all the cabinets installed. So he's cutting the skins down. And once the skins are cut down, they can be sent over to the other facility to get sprayed. Once they're completed, they can get installed. We can install the middle piece of crown, the top piece of crown, and then there's a bunch of screen molding we need to do, caulking, make sure everything looks perfect. I can measure for the doors. We can build the doors, install the doors, drill the handles. That job will be done. So there's quite a bit to do there, but that's fine. Brandon's making headway. I'm going to sand these face frames down so that way they can be ready to be put together. Craig jigged, screwed, glued. What else? I think that's about it for right now. So let's start sanding. I just got all of our width of our face frames sent through that vertical belt sander just to make sure everything is perfectly straight. That leads to a better finish. They were about a 30-second over. That's what we cut on the saw stop. So now they're perfectly at 1 3/4 of an inch wide. Either today or tomorrow we'll Craig jig them, set this up to 3/4 of an inch, put them together, glue them, measure them, send them through the vertical belt sander to get the thickness down from 13/16 to 3/4 of an inch. And then we'll bundle those up and they can get sent over to the other facility to get sprayed. I think that color is Ice Cube, the same color that Brandon just installed today. So, very fun task is to unload this van fully because Brandon is going to go get material at the place that we get our wood from. So, unload this and then Brandon can go get material. Brandon and I got this van unloaded and loaded back up with all the tools. Jacob got back from taping. That job is completely taped. And we loaded it up so he can spray there tomorrow. It's a gray, which will look really good. We got a bunch more of the 1/2-inch cabinet material, a bunch more beach, and a bunch more drawer box material. Busy day today. I measured for a big job. It'll be a reface, existing drawer boxes, but new drawers and drawer fronts. I believe they went shaker 45 door, slab drawer front. It'll be beach because it's painted, tight grain. It'll look really good. New handles. And then Jacob taped a big kitchen. Brandon installed cabinets. There's a bunch more to do at that job, but phase 1 is done. We got that this black cabinet pretty much put together. Finish the drawer boxes tomorrow. Put the drawer fronts on. Ship it out. We can start working on those 2 cabinets tomorrow. Those cabinets, Carl and Brandon are going to tear this kitchen out tomorrow. I'll start putting on the side skins. I have one more cabinet I have to figure out. But a whole bunch of stuff got done there. I think that's going to pretty much end the video. If you enjoyed the video, please like it. Leave a comment. We love the comments. Please subscribe to the channel. We love making videos. New video out pretty much every day, which is awesome. Takes a while, but it's awesome. Look at our website. It's professional. Looks really good. Shows everything that we do. Custom cabinets, refacing, resurfacing, new drawer boxes, doors, painting, stain. Doesn't matter. We do it all in-house and we install all of it. personally. So yeah, have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Adios.